Hey YouTube, Mark Kaufman here, and today I want to talk about the Spyderco Edura. Now this one is a limited, I guess not limited edition, but it's like a sprint run that's readily available. But this is an S30V. Now I have owned this one before, and this one originally came with teal scales. And for me, I do like the scales, but I prefer titanium handles, primarily because on the back you get a nice titanium slab here. So I installed those, but the reason why I really like this model also is they stone wash the clip on this side. It's not your standard black clip. It's going to be a stone washed and kind of gray stainless steel clip. And when this was on the teal scales, this clip actually looked gray compared to the stainless steel pins. So for me, that really goes well with this titanium look. But I wanted to talk about the Flytanium scales from Flytanium for the Edura. They're very similar to the scales for the Delica, but I have to say, boy, you really get a lot for your money. I know that 120 bucks for some scales is a lot of money, and it already boosts this knife up to being almost a $250 knife, but this knife feels like a knife that I can now have for a lifetime. I know that glass-filled nylon scales can last a long time, but if they get burnt, if they get scraped or rubbed or really damaged, they do not do very well over time. They can also crack. And when it comes to titanium, I would prefer this over those scales. Now, installation on this was very, very simple. I've seen a few videos of people doing it, and they make it look harder than it really is. You just need a little bit of patience and just really have it planned out in your head. Now, one of the things I thought about doing was getting this anodized into a sky blue or a dark blue, but there's enough blue titanium knives. I thought I would make this one into a work knife and carry it and use it. Now, the other thing that I was thinking about doing is actually adding some threads to this side so I could carry it tipped down. Now, you're probably wondering, okay, look, you shouldn't carry this tipped down. Tip down stinks. It's not a really good way to carry a knife, but with a knife this large, when you have it tipped down, you're pulling it out of your pocket, you're already in this orientation to pull the blade out. Sometimes, depending on how you grab it, but most of the time I grab it like this or like this, and it's out of my pocket, and then I have to do something like that. So if it's tipped down, you already are in that orientation to open it very quickly. So for me, I may be sending this out to get some holes made so I can carry that tip down. It's unfortunate that they don't allow that, but I can see how that could mess up the overall look of the handles here. Now, when it came to fitment, this was substantially more positive than the FRN scales. When you tighten anything on this, it just goes together and it stays together. I was tempted to use red Loctite on these screws here and then blue here, but if anything were to happen to this knife or anything broke, I would want to take it apart, put the old scales back on, and then send it Spyderco for warranty if anything happened. So I was tempted to do that, but ended up not doing it. But the overall question for these scales is it worth it? They make these in copper, brass, and titanium, and this is already a pretty heavy knife. This is probably as heavy as the stainless steel Edura that Spyderco makes, and for me, that's a pretty heavy blade. It's getting up there with like the Buck 110 and a few other larger knives, and for me, I just don't think it's worth it in the weight, but in durability and strength and rigidity, you get these stainless steel liners from Spyderco, then you get the titanium handles, and that really adds a lot of strength and durability, especially when it comes to holding that back spring into place. If you had to or like to take your knives apart, The FRN backspacer here usually is the main problem with getting these back together, but with this, no problems at all. So for me, I would say yes, it's worth it if you don't mind the weight, but I really do feel that these would shine if you were able to send them to like a knife modder, have him mill in a pattern, anodize it, and then there you go, you've got a custom handle. But that would probably be pushing this knife up into like 350 bucks, depending on what the modder charges. And for me, that's a pretty penny. You can get some incredible knives for $350. So for me, if you wanted to just change up your look of your knife, I would say get it. But if you're going to get the brass or the copper, man, you're going to be looking at a very heavy knife. So I thought you guys would enjoy seeing this one. This is one that I've been carrying for quite a while and really haven't done a review on. I've owned this model before, but that was before I started my YouTube channel. So till the next one, I'll talk to you guys later.